Get your dirty black hands off my daughter! Before Brandon could turn, someone grabbed his collar and yanked him backward. His body crashed onto pavement, skull cracking against concrete. Sir, I did CPR. She stopped breathing. A white man in a $6,000 suit loomed over him, trembling with rage. You think I'm stupid? A black driver alone with my unconscious daughter in this neighborhood? Mr. Caldwell, she collapsed in my car. I had to... Richard Caldwell shoved him down hard. Security! Restrain him now! Guards slammed Brandon face first against his car hood, wrenching his arms back. Behind them, Emma coughed, gasped, started breathing. Richard turned, taking in his daughter's torn blouse, the red marks on her chest from compressions. Then Brandon pinned helpless. What did you do to her? He pulled out his phone, voice ice cold. I'm calling the police. You're going to prison for this. 6 hours earlier. The alarm screamed at 5:48 a.m. Brandon silenced it, staring at the water-stained ceiling of his studio apartment. His phone lit up with 3 notifications. Final notice. Electric disconnection in 48 hours. $340 due. Mercy General Hospital. Your mother's balance, $48,000. Rent. Notice. $800 due in 3 days. Brandon opened his rideshare app. Weekly earnings, $128. 72 hours to earn, $672. 16-hour days. No sleep, just driving. His phone rang. Terrence. They fired me, Brandon. 20 years at Caldwell Tech, gone. They're claiming I violated a non-compete I never signed. His brother's voice broke. I got an eviction notice. $3,000 by month's end or I'm homeless. Brandon looked at his own eviction notice. We'll figure it out. How? Mom's dying. You're drowning. Now me. A bitter laugh. 3 people depending on you. How much can one man carry? Everything, Brandon thought, because he had no choice. 7:23 a.m. First passenger, white businessman, barking into his phone. I don't care if they're tired. If my employees can't work 60 hours a week, fire them. Find people who actually want to work. Brandon gripped the wheel, silent. The man glanced at him. You work hard, right, driver? These young people want everything handed to them. Brandon forced a smile. Just trying to make ends meet, sir. See? That's the attitude. Back to his call. Cut their benefits. They'll quit on their own. 11:15 a.m. Passenger 4, college student, designer sunglasses, giggling into her phone. Daddy's sending me to the Maldives for spring break. $40,000 for 2 weeks. The villa has a private beach. Brandon glanced at his gas gauge. Quarter tank, $8.32 in his account. Driver, turn up the AC, it's really hot. His AC had been broken for 6 months. Sorry, miss, not working. Whatever. No tip when she left. 3:49 p.m. Gas station. Brandon counted coins. 5.23. Enough for gas, not food. An elderly woman struggled with grocery bags, arthritic hands shaking. Brandon walked over. Let me help you, ma'am. Oh, bless you. She reached for her purse. No, ma'am, I don't need anything. He loaded her bags. She squeezed his hand. God bless you, son. Still good people in this world. Brandon bought chips and water. Dinner. 6:34 p.m. New ride request. Pickup. Rosewood Hills. Fare. $18 Rosewood Hills. Where his yearly rent wouldn't cover monthly HOA fees. Where guards followed him like a criminal last time. But $18 was $18. He drove past check-cashing stores into a world of mansions and fountains worth more than his car. The security guard eyed him suspiciously. Brandon showed the app. The guard radioed, "Suspicious vehicle entering." Brandon pulled up to the Caldwell mansion, A young woman in a $4,000 dress hurried down, phone to her ear. Yes, the medical foundation dinner. Dad's announcing the new hospital wing. She slid into the back seat. Mercy General Hospital, quickly, I'm late. Yes, ma'am. Emma Caldwell never looked up from her phone. Brandon merged onto the highway. In the rearview mirror, Emma's face went pale. Ma'am? You okay? Fine, just drive fast. Emma's hand clutched her chest. Miss, you don't look... Her phone clattered to the floor. Her eyes rolled back. Emma Caldwell stopped breathing. Brandon's heart jumped into his throat. He swerved to the shoulder, tires screaming. Miss! Miss! Can you hear me? No response. He fumbled for his phone, dialing 911 with shaking hands. 911, what's your emergency? My passenger, she's not breathing. I need an ambulance now. Sir, what's your location? Brandon looked around wildly. Highway 64 near the Rosewood exit. Please hurry. Ambulance is 8 minutes out. Sir, do you know CPR? 8 minutes. She'd be dead in 8 minutes. Brandon remembered the free community class at the church. His mother's heart attack scare years ago when they couldn't afford an ambulance. This time, I can do something. I know CPR. Good. Get her on a flat surface immediately. Brandon yanked open the back door, pulled Emma's limp body from the seat, and laid her on the pavement beside his Honda. His hands found her sternum. 30 compressions, 2 breaths. Come on. Breathe. 30 compressions. 2 breaths. His arms burned. Sweat dripped into his eyes. He was aware of cars slowing, people staring. A black man kneeling over an unconscious white woman in an expensive dress. He didn't care. Breathe. Please breathe. Sirens wailed in the distance. And then, helicopter blades. Close. Getting closer. Brandon kept compressing. The helicopter landed 50 yards away. A man in a $6,000 suit jumped out, sprinting toward them. Richard Caldwell's eyes locked on the scene. And Brandon's world exploded. Richard Caldwell saw a black man's hands on his daughter's chest, and something in him snapped. Get your dirty black hands off her! He grabbed Brandon's collar and yanked him away so violently Brandon flew backward, his skull slamming into pavement. Stars burst across his vision. Sir, please. She stopped breathing. I had to do CPR. CPR? Richard's face twisted with rage. A black driver alone with my unconscious daughter? You think I'm stupid? She collapsed in my car. I called 911. Richard shoved him down. Hard. Security! Restrain this man now! 2 guards in tactical gear materialized and slammed Brandon face first against his Honda, wrenching his arms behind his back. The hot metal burned his cheek. Behind them, Emma suddenly coughed, a wet, desperate sound, and gasped for air. Richard spun around. His daughter lay there, blouse torn open, angry red marks stamped across her chest, makeup smeared. Emma! Her eyes fluttered. Dad! What happened? You're safe now, baby. He dropped beside her, then his gaze snapped to Brandon, pinned and helpless. What did you do to her? I saved her! Brandon's voice cracked. She wasn't breathing! Sirens screamed closer, the ambulance from Brandon's 911 call. Paramedics rushed over. The lead medic knelt beside Emma, checking vitals with practiced speed. Sir, what happened? She asked Richard. I found him, Richard pointed at Brandon. On top of my daughter. I did CPR. Ask 911. I called it in. The medic examined Emma's chest carefully. Symmetrical bruising, proper hand placement. She checked her tablet, listened to her radio. Sir, we have the 911 call. This man reported cardiac arrest and administered CPR. She pressed Emma's sternum gently. These marks match correct CPR technique. No fractures. He did it right. Richard's face went white. What are you saying? He saved your daughter's life. The medic's voice was firm. Without immediate CPR, cardiac arrest causes brain damage in 4 minutes. We were 8 minutes away. She gestured to Emma, breathing on her own now. She's alive because he didn't hesitate. The words hung in the air. Let him go, Richard said quietly. The guards hesitated. I said let him go! They released Brandon. He stumbled, catching himself, wrists red and raw. Richard's phone rang. He answered mechanically. Not now. The gala doesn't matter. My daughter almost died. Mercy, General. 20 minutes. Paramedics loaded Emma onto a stretcher. She reached for her father weakly. Dad, I'm okay. Save your strength, baby. Richard climbed into the ambulance, then stopped, turning back to Brandon with an expression no longer rage but confusion. You called 911? Yes, sir. And you did CPR? Yes, sir. Why? Richard studied him. The worn shoes, the rusted Honda, the calloused hands. You risked everything. A lawsuit, assault charges. Why would someone like you... Brandon's jaw tightened. Someone like me? Richard caught himself, looking away. I need to go. Before the doors closed, he called out. What's your name? Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams. Richard memorized it. I'll contact you. After Emma's stable. We need to talk. The ambulance pulled away, sirens wailing. Brandon stood alone in the empty street, his body aching, hands still trembling from adrenaline. A police car rolled up. Brandon's heart sank. Officer Davis stepped out, an older black man with a notepad. Sir, I need your statement about the medical emergency. Not an arrest, just a statement. Brandon exhaled shakily and explained everything. The collapse, the 911 call, the CPR, Richard's violent arrival. We've confirmed it with the 911 recording and paramedics, Officer Davis said, closing his notebook. You did good tonight, son. Saved that young woman's life. Something passed across his face. Understanding. You're free to go. Brandon climbed into his Honda. His hands wouldn't stop shaking as he gripped the wheel. He'd saved Emma Caldwell's life. Her billionaire father had looked at his black skin, his cheap clothes, his old car, and assumed the worst. Had attacked him, restrained him like a criminal. His phone buzzed. Rideshare account, suspended. Reason, pending passenger safety investigation. Brandon stared at the screen. No more rides. No income. 72 hours to earn $672 for rent. His mother's medications running out. His brother facing eviction. And Brandon had just lost his only way to make money. All because he'd done the right thing. All because he'd saved someone's life. Brandon didn't sleep. He sat in his car refreshing the rideshare app until dawn, hoping the suspension was a mistake. It wasn't. At 6 a.m., unknown number. Mr. Williams? Catherine from Richard Caldwell's office. Mr. Caldwell would like to meet you. Mercy General, 2 p.m., room 412. Is Emma okay? Recovering well, thanks to your actions. Can you make it? Yes. 1:54 p.m. Mercy General's entrance gleamed with marble and glass. Nothing like the county clinic where Brandon's mother received her cancer treatments in bleach-smelling hallways. Security stopped him immediately. Can I help you? The guard's tone was clipped, eyes scanning Brandon's faded jeans and off-brand jacket. Emma Caldwell, room 412. Catherine called. ID, please. The guard studied his license slowly, eyes flicking between screen and face like running a criminal background check. Finally, 4th floor, elevators that way. The elevator was all mirrors and recessed lighting. Brandon's reflection stared back, exhausted, rumpled, out of place. 4th floor, thick carpeting, original art, private rooms with wooden doors instead of plastic curtains. Room 412 stood open. Emma sat propped in bed, pale but unmistakably alive. Richard stood by the window, phone to ear. "I'm not discussing this now, Gerald. The board can wait. Tomorrow." He hung up and turned. "Mr. Williams, thank you for coming." Brandon stepped inside carefully. "How is she?" "Complete recovery expected. No lasting damage." Richard's voice was controlled, formal. "Because of you." Emma managed a weak smile. "Hi, I'm Emma. We didn't really meet properly yesterday, what with me being unconscious." "Brandon, I'm glad you're okay. My dad told me what you did." Her eyes glistened. "I don't remember anything. 1 minute in your car, next thing I'm waking up here. Doctors said without immediate CPR." She trailed off. Richard cleared his throat. "Mr. Williams, I owe you an apology. A profound one. My reaction yesterday was inexcusable. I made assumptions that were completely wrong." Brandon said nothing. "I'd like to compensate you for saving my daughter." Richard pulled out a thick envelope. $50,000. As gratitude. Brandon stared. That money would solve everything. His mother's treatment, Terrence's rent, his own eviction. "No thank you, Mr. Caldwell." Richard blinked like Brandon had spoken another language. "I'm sorry?" "I don't want money for saving someone's life." "Then what do you want?" Brandon met his eyes. "To know she's okay. That's all. That's why I came." Richard looked genuinely confused. "But surely given your current circumstances—" "My circumstances?" Something hard entered Brandon's voice. "I meant no offense, just expressing gratitude in a tangible way." Brandon turned to Emma. "I'm really glad you're all right, Miss Caldwell. Take care of yourself." He headed for the door. "Wait, please." Richard held out a business card. "My contact information. If you ever need anything at all." Brandon took it without looking. "I mean it," Richard said, something genuine in his voice now. "You saved my daughter. That debt doesn't just disappear." Brandon looked him the card, then back at Richard. "It wasn't a transaction, Mr. Caldwell. I didn't save her to create a debt. I saved her because it was right." He left them staring after him. In the elevator, Brandon checked the card. On back, handwritten, "Personal cell, call anytime." RC. He slipped it into his wallet next to $5.23 in coins. His phone rang. Terrence. "Brandon, landlord moved up my eviction. I have 48 hours now, not 30 days. I'm sorry, I know you can't. I'll figure something out." "How? You're barely surviving." Brandon closed his eyes as the elevator descended. "I don't know yet, but I will." Outside, bright afternoon sun mocked him. On his windshield, parking ticket, $75. Brandon laughed, bitter, exhausted, humorless. Saved a billionaire's daughter, got a business card and a ticket. Email notification. Rideshare account status. Investigation ongoing. Suspended pending review. Estimated resolution. 5 to 7 business days. 5 to 7 days. Brandon had 2 before eviction. Terrence had 48 hours. His mother needed $300 in medications he didn't have, and he had no way to earn a single dollar. The video went viral while Brandon sat in his car trying to figure out how to earn $672 in 2 days with no income source. Someone had filmed the entire CPR scene, posted it to social media with the caption, "Black driver saves billionaire heiress, then gets attacked by her father." By evening, it had 3 million views. Brandon's phone exploded. News outlets, interview requests, strangers messaging him, some calling him a hero, others questioning his motives. The comments section was a war zone. He saved her life. That father should be ashamed. Probably staged for a payout. Why was he even in that neighborhood? Notice how quick he was to help? Bet his lawyers already contacted Caldwell. This is what happens when white people automatically assume black men are criminals. Brandon deleted every social media app and turned off his phone. But the damage was done. His face was everywhere. Next morning, Brandon walked into Mercy General's cancer ward, 4th floor. The real 4th floor, not the luxury wing where Emma had her private room. His mother lay in a shared room divided by thin curtains. 3 other patients visible. One TV mounted in the corner, volume low. She was awake, watching the news, watching footage of Brandon doing CPR on Emma Caldwell. "Baby." Her voice was weak, but proud. "You're famous." "I'm tired, Mama." Brandon pulled a chair close, took her frail hand. "You did good. You always do good." The billing administrator appeared at the curtain, same woman as always, clipboard in hand, expression apologetic but firm. "Ms. Williams, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we need to discuss your account." Brandon's stomach tightened. "What is it?" "Your mother's treatment authorization has been denied by the insurance company. The outstanding balance is now $48,000. His mother's hand tightened on his. "48,000? Denied?" Brandon stood. "Why? She's been covered for 6 months." The administrator checked her paperwork. Pre-existing condition clause was activated. The insurance provider is Caldwell Medical Group. The name hit Brandon like a punch. Caldwell. "There must be a mistake," he said quietly. "I'm sorry. The decision came from corporate. Unless the balance is paid or insurance reinstated, we'll have to discontinue non-emergency treatment by end of week." She left them alone. Brandon's mother looked at him with eyes that had seen too much disappointment. "It's okay, baby. We knew this might happen." "It's not okay, Mama. I'll fix it." "How? You can't work miracles." "But I saved his daughter's life." Brandon pulled out Richard Caldwell's business card, staring at the handwritten number. Not yet. He wasn't ready to beg yet. His phone rang. Terrence. "Brandon, I got the official eviction notice, 72 hours. Where am I supposed to go?" "Move in with me temporarily. We'll figure it out." "Your place is a studio apartment. Barely fits you." "We'll make it work." After he hung up, Brandon checked his bank account, $8.32. His rideshare account, still suspended. He had one option left, the check Richard had tried to give him. No, he'd refused it for a reason. But his mother was dying. His brother was about to be homeless. Brandon himself had rent due in 48 hours. Pride couldn't pay bills. Brandon pulled out Richard's card again. Before he could second-guess himself, he dialed. "Richard Caldwell." "Mr. Caldwell, this is Brandon Williams." A pause. "Mr. Williams, I'm glad you called. How can I help you?" Brandon closed his eyes. "You offered to help if I needed anything." "I did, and I meant it. My mother's cancer treatment was just denied by Caldwell Medical Group. The bill is $48,000. Silence on the line. "Mr. Williams, Let me look into this immediately." "What's your mother's name?" "Diana Williams. She's at Mercy General Cancer Ward." "I'll make some calls. Give me 1 hour." The line went dead. Brandon sat in the hospital parking lot, waiting. 53 minutes later, his phone rang. "Mr. Williams, I reviewed your mother's case personally." Richard's voice was different, stiffer, more corporate. The denial was technically correct according to policy guidelines. Brandon's heart sank. Technically correct? The pre-existing condition clause is standard in that tier of coverage. I'm sorry, but legally, the company's decision stands. "Mr. Caldwell, you said if I needed anything, I've arranged for the hospital to accept a payment plan, $500 per month. That's the best accommodation I can make within company policy. Brandon did the math. $500 a month for 96 months. And 8 years. That's still $48,000 I don't have, and my mother doesn't have 8 years. I understand it's not ideal, but there are procedures, regulations. I can't simply override. You can't? Brandon's voice went quiet and hard. You're the chairman of the company. You can do whatever you want. It's not that simple. There are boards, shareholders, legal. It's exactly that simple, Mr. Caldwell. You just won't. Silence. I saved your daughter's life, Brandon continued. I asked for nothing. You insisted on owing me a debt. Now I'm asking for help, and you're hiding behind policy. Mr. Williams, I assure you, I'm trying to help within the constraints you created, policies you enforce, systems you profit from. More silence. I'm sorry, Richard finally said. The payment plan is the best I can offer. Brandon hung up. He sat in his car, hands shaking with rage and disappointment. He should have known. People like Richard Caldwell didn't actually help people like Brandon. They offered charity when it was convenient, when it made them look good, when it didn't challenge the systems that kept them rich and everyone else struggling. Richard had looked at Brandon saving Emma and been confused. Why would you help without expecting payment? Because Richard couldn't imagine doing anything that didn't serve his own interests. And now Brandon understood. The debt Richard claimed to owe was just words. Empty gratitude that evaporated the moment it cost him anything real. Brandon started his car. He had 2 days to find $672 for rent. No job, no income, no help coming. He pulled out of the parking lot and drove through the city, watching the world divide itself. Gleaming downtown towers where people like Richard decided who deserved treatment and who deserved debt. And the neighborhoods where Brandon lived, where $48,000 might as well be $48 million. His phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Mr. Williams, this is Emma Caldwell. I just heard what my father said. I'm so sorry. Can we talk, please? Brandon deleted it. Pretty words from rich people didn't pay bills. He drove home to his water-stained studio apartment and lay on his sagging mattress, staring at the ceiling, wondering how doing the right thing had led him here. Jobless, hopeless, drowning. The universe didn't reward good people. It just punished them in new and creative ways. Emma Caldwell showed up at Brandon's apartment building the next morning. He saw her through his window. A white woman in expensive casual clothes, looking completely out of place in his neighborhood. 2 security guards flanked her. Brandon didn't answer when she knocked. Mr. Williams? Brandon? I know you're in there. Please, I just want to talk. He opened the door. What do you want? Emma looked genuinely distressed. I heard what happened. With your mother. With my father's response. I'm so sorry. Your apology doesn't pay medical bills. I know, that's why I'm here. She held out an envelope. It's a check for your mother's treatment. I have my own trust fund. This doesn't come from my father. Brandon didn't take it. I don't want charity. It's not charity. It's gratitude. You gave me my life back. Her eyes were earnest, almost desperate. Please. Let me do this one thing. Brandon looked at the envelope, looked at this privileged young woman who genuinely seemed to care, but fundamentally couldn't understand what it was like to choose between medicine and rent. Does your father know you're here? No. Good. Go home, Miss Caldwell. Tell your father his company's policies are killing people. Tell him technically correct isn't the same as morally right. Tell him that some of us can't hide behind boards and shareholders when we make decisions that hurt people. I will. I promise. But please take... No. Brandon stepped back. I don't want money that comes from the same system that's crushing us. Your family's fortune is built on denying people like my mother. Taking your check just makes me part of the problem. Emma looked like he'd slapped her. I'm trying to help. Then use your privilege to change the system, not to make yourself feel better about it. He closed the door. Through the window, he watched her stand there for a long moment before her security guards guided her back to her car. His phone buzzed. His mother's doctor. Treatment continuation denied. Medications will run out in 72 hours. Brandon put his head in his hands. He'd turned down help out of pride. His mother would pay the price. The legal notice arrived by courier the next morning. Caldwell Medical Group v. Brandon Williams' claim of negligence and unauthorized medical intervention. Brandon's hands shook as he read, Defendant Brandon Williams did willfully and negligently perform unauthorized medical procedures on Emma Caldwell, resulting in physical injury including but not limited to fractured ribs, chest wall bruising, and emotional trauma. Defendant's actions, while ostensibly intended as aid, exceeded reasonable care and constitute assault and battery. Furthermore, defendant has engaged in a pattern of seeking publicity and financial compensation through media attention. They were suing him for $100,000 for saving Emma's life. Brandon called Richard immediately. Is this real? Are you actually suing me? Richard's voice was calm, distant. That's the legal department handling liability issues. It's standard procedure when there's physical contact resulting in injury. I saved her life! And I'm personally grateful. But the company has protocols. This is separate from my personal feelings about what you did. There's nothing separate about this. Brandon's voice cracked. You're letting them destroy me for doing the right thing. The legal department operates independently. I don't micromanage every... You're the chairman. You could stop this with one phone call. It's not that simple. There are liability concerns, insurance implications. You know exactly why they're doing this. Brandon's voice went quiet and cold. I'm easy to destroy. I'm poor. I'm black. I'm visible because of that video. Your lawyers know I can't afford to fight back, so they're making an example of me. Silence on the line. Mr. Williams, this isn't about... Don't. Brandon cut him off. Don't insult me by pretending you don't see it. I saved your daughter. You looked at me like a criminal. Now your company is suing me to protect yourselves, and you're going to let it happen because people like me don't matter to people like you. Richard's voice went tight. I think this conversation is over. It was over the moment you chose your company's bottom line over doing what's right. Brandon hung up. By afternoon, the media had the story. Good Samaritan faces lawsuit after saving billionaire's daughter. The narrative shifted instantly. Opportunist driver sued for assault. Conservative outlets. Medical experts question hero's methods. Business news. Did Brandon Williams go too far? Morning talk shows. Think pieces flooded the internet. The Savior Complex. When Good Samaritans become liabilities. His rideshare account sent an updated notification. Account permanently suspended. Reason: ongoing litigation poses unacceptable risk to passenger safety. This decision is final. No more income. Not now. Not ever from this source. Brandon's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Reporters, lawyers offering representation for 40% of any settlement, strangers with opinions. His landlord called, Mr. Williams, I've seen the news. I can't have someone involved in litigation living here. It's a liability issue. Your eviction notice is effective immediately. I have rights. You can't just check your lease. Section 14C. Residents involved in legal proceedings that could impact building reputation can be removed with 72-hour notice. I'm sorry, but I can't risk it. Click. Brandon walked to his mother's hospital room in a daze. She was asleep, morphine drip keeping her comfortable as her medications ran out and her treatment got discontinued. He sat beside her bed, holding her frail hand. I'm sorry, Mama, he whispered. I tried to do the right thing. It wasn't supposed to go like this. Her eyes fluttered open. Baby, what's wrong? Nothing. Rest. Don't lie to your mama. She squeezed his hand with surprising strength. "Tell me." So he did. The lawsuit, the eviction, the permanent job suspension, everything falling apart. His mother listened, then smiled, actually smiled. "You saved that girl's life?" "Yes, Mama." "Then you did right. The rest—" She waved her free hand weakly. "The rest is just noise. You can't control how people react to your goodness. You can only control whether you're good. Being good is killing us. No, baby. Being good is keeping us human. The minute you let their cruelty make you cruel, they win. You understand?" Brandon didn't answer. An elderly black woman in the next bed, separated by a thin curtain, spoke up. "Young man, I heard what happened to you, what they're doing." Her voice was strong, despite her illness. "You listen to your mama. Good people always get tested. The question ain't whether you'll face trials. It's whether you'll stay good when you do." She pulled out her purse with trembling hands. "I don't have much, but here's $40. It ain't a lot, but—" "Ma'am, no. Hush. You helped somebody who needed it. Now let us do the same." The woman in the third bed added $20. The fourth bed, a young Latina woman, emptied her wallet, $32. Brandon stared at the money through blurred vision. $92 from people who had even less than him, who faced the same ruthless system, who understood what it meant to be punished for being poor. "Thank you," he managed. His mother pulled him close. "You're not alone, baby. Never alone." But when Brandon left the hospital, the reality hit. $92 was nothing against $100,000 in legal fees, $48,000 in medical bills, $672 in rent he couldn't pay. He sat in his car, which would be his home in 72 hours, and let himself break. He'd saved a life. He'd lost everything. The system was rigged. The powerful crushed the good, and no amount of doing right would change that. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. "Mr. Williams, this is Emma Caldwell. Please don't hang up. I know what my father's company is doing. I know about the lawsuit, and I'm not going to let it happen." Brandon's throat was too tight to speak. "I'm going to stop this," Emma said, her voice shaking but determined. "I'm going to make it right. I promise you. My father taught me to be a lot of things, but you taught me something he never did. What real courage looks like. Miss Caldwell, call me Emma, and trust me. Just a little longer. Can you do that?" Brandon looked at the $92 from 3 dying women who'd given what they couldn't afford because they understood solidarity. "Okay," he whispered. "A little longer." Emma Caldwell didn't just call. She showed up at the Caldwell Industries headquarters with a lawyer, a recording device, and a determination that surprised even her. She walked into her father's office without knocking. Richard looked up from his desk, phone to his ear. "Emma, I'm in a meeting. Hang up." Something in her voice made him comply. "I'll call you back, Gerald." Emma slammed a folder on his desk. "You're suing the man who saved my life? That's the legal department's decision based on liability. Don't give me corporate talking points. You're the chairman. You control everything. There are procedures, boards, insurance implications. I don't care about procedures." Emma's voice cracked. "That man gave me my life back. He did CPR for 3 minutes while you flew around in your helicopter. He risked everything. His job, a lawsuit, being accused of assault, because it was the right thing to do. And now you're destroying him for it?" Richard stood, his face hardening. "You don't understand business, Emma. When someone performs medical procedures without certification, when injuries result, there are legal ramifications. He saved my life." Emma enunciated each word. "The doctors confirmed it. The paramedics confirmed it. I would be dead without him." "And you're worried about legal ramifications?" I'm worried about precedent. If we don't protect ourselves legally, every good Samaritan who causes injury will... Listen to yourself. Emma's eyes filled with tears. You sound exactly like the man I never wanted you to become. Mom would be ashamed. Richard flinched. Don't bring your mother into this. She'd want me to. Emma opened the folder. I had my lawyer pull Caldwell Medical Group's litigation history. You want to know what I found? She spread documents across his desk. 6 cases in the last 3 years, all lawsuits against people who helped Caldwell employees or family members, all settled quietly with NDAs, all involving people of color. She met his eyes. All designed to protect the company from liability by destroying anyone who might expose your policies or practices. Richard's face went pale. That's not what this is about. Isn't it? Brandon Williams called you for help with his mother's medical bills, bills from your company denying coverage. You hid behind policy. Now he's being sued for saving my life, and you're hiding behind procedure. Emma's voice shook. When did you become so afraid of doing the right thing that you'd rather destroy a good man than admit your company is wrong? I'm trying to protect our family's legacy. You're protecting your bottom line. Emma grabbed her purse. I'm going to fix this. I'm testifying on Brandon's behalf. I'm going public with everything. The denied medical coverage, the pattern of lawsuits, all of it. Emma, if you do this, the board will... I don't care about the board. I don't care about the stock price. I don't care about any of it. She turned at the door. Mom always said, compassion doesn't calculate. You forgot that. But I'm going to remember it. And I'm going to make sure Brandon Williams gets justice, with or without you. She left her father sitting alone in his office, surrounded by the documents she'd left behind. 3 days later, a community lawyer named Sarah Chen took Brandon's case pro bono. She was a firecracker, early 30s, with a reputation for taking on corporate giants and winning. They're not suing you for malpractice, Sarah explained in her cluttered office. They're suing you to silence you. You're visible. That video went viral. You represent everything their system is designed to crush. A poor black man who exposed their hypocrisy by doing something heroic. She spread medical records across her desk. Emma's rib fractures were minor and completely consistent with proper CPR. Her sternum isn't broken. You followed procedure perfectly. Any expert witness will confirm it. Sarah pulled up more files on her laptop. I found the pattern Emma discovered. 6 similar cases, all people of color, all involving Caldwell properties or employees, all sued into silence with NDAs. She looked at Brandon. Yours is the first to go public because of that video. They're scared. Scared of what? I'm nobody. You're somebody who made their system visible. Richard Caldwell attacked you on camera. The world saw a billionaire treat a black man like a criminal for saving his daughter. That's not a lawsuit they can win in court, but they're hoping you can't afford to fight long enough to find out. Brandon's phone buzzed. Emma. Press conference tomorrow. My lawyer, your lawyer, and me. We're exposing everything. Are you ready? Sarah saw his expression. What is it? Brandon showed her the message. Sarah grinned. Emma Caldwell is going to war with her own father's company. For you. She stood, extending her hand. Let's give them hell. For the first time in days, Brandon felt something other than despair. Hope was a dangerous thing. But maybe, just maybe, it was enough. The press conference room was packed. Brandon stood at the podium, Emma beside him, Sarah Chen on his other side. Cameras flashed. Brandon's hands shook. He'd never done this before. He thought of his mother and began. 3 weeks ago, I picked up a passenger, Emma Caldwell. She collapsed, stopped breathing. I did CPR until paramedics arrived. He steadied. I didn't do it for a reward. I did it because someone needed help. He looked at the cameras. When her father arrived, he didn't see a man saving his daughter. He saw a black driver and assumed the worst. He attacked me, had me restrained. Murmurs rippled through the room. Later, he apologized, offered money. I refused. I didn't save her for money. Brandon held up the lawsuit. Now, Caldwell Medical Group is suing me for $100,000. The same company that denied my mother's cancer treatment. The same company that fired my brother after 20 years. His voice strengthened. I'm being punished for saving a life. This isn't about me. It's about a system that punishes good people and protects the powerful. Emma stepped forward. Brandon Williams saved my life. The doctors confirmed it. She held up documents. My father's company is suing him. Why? Liability over humanity, profit over people. Her voice cracked, but stayed strong. I reviewed our litigation history. 6 cases in 3 years, all people of color who helped Caldwell employees, all silenced with NDAs. Brandon's the first to go public. She faced the camera. This is a pattern. My family's companies deny coverage, fire employees, sue anyone who exposes them. They call it policy. I call it cruelty. She turned to Brandon. He showed me what real courage is. He had every reason not to help, but he did because it was right. Emma's voice rang clear. I'm standing with Brandon. I'm calling on Caldwell Medical Group to drop this lawsuit, reinstate him, cover his mother's treatment, and reform their policies. Reporters erupted with questions. Emma faced them calmly. I'm prepared to do what's right, regardless of cost. Caldwell Industries headquarters. Richard watched the press conference from his office during an emergency board meeting. Control your daughter. Stock is dropping. Richard raised his hand. Adjourn the meeting. Richard, we need now. They left. Richard sat alone, watching. Brandon's words. A system that punishes good people. Emma's voice. Mom would be ashamed. He pulled out his late wife's letter from his desk. Wealth without compassion is just greed with a lawyer. Don't forget who you wanted to be. Richard reviewed files he'd been avoiding. Denied medical claims. Thousands. Technically correct. Morally bankrupt. Lawsuits, 6 cases, all people of color, just like Emma said. He watched the CPR video again. A black man saving a stranger, knowing the risks, doing it anyway. And Richard had seen a threat. Not because Brandon was threatening, because Richard had trained himself to see poor black men as problems, not people. The realization hit him like a physical blow. 1 hour later, Richard called his own press conference. He stood at the podium. No notes. 30 years ago, I started my company to solve problems. Somewhere, I started creating them. His voice was quiet but clear. I watched my daughter's press conference. Every word was true. He looked at the cameras. Brandon Williams saved my daughter. When I arrived and saw him performing CPR, I didn't see a hero. I saw a black man with my white daughter and assumed the worst. I attacked him. Treated him like a criminal. Stunned silence. That assumption was prejudice I didn't want to acknowledge. Later, I apologized. But when Brandon needed help with his mother's treatment, denied by my company, I hid behind policy. Richard pulled out documents. Effective immediately. 1. Lawsuit against Brandon Williams dropped. Public apology issued. Legal fees covered. 2. All similar lawsuits dropped. NDA victims released and compensated. 3. Caldwell Medical Group policies reviewed by Independent Ethics Board. 4. Diana Williams receives full cancer treatment coverage. Past bills forgiven. 5. Terrence Williams reinstated with back pay, severance, and promotion. 6. $10 million fund for wrongly denied claims. 7. Bias training for all executives, starting with me. He paused. Mr. Williams taught me something I forgot. Richard spoke clearly. Compassion doesn't calculate. It simply acts. His voice cracked. For 30 years, I calculated, measured risk, protected profit. I built systems that hurt people and called it business. He gripped the podium. Brandon wasn't calculating when he saved my daughter. He was being human. I repaid humanity with cruelty because I'd forgotten what it means to do what's right. Richard's eyes glistened. It's time my companies remembered. Our purpose is serving people, not maximizing profit. He walked off stage and dialed his phone. Mr. Williams, Richard Caldwell. I need to apologize properly. Can we talk? Private meeting. 1 hour later, Brandon met Richard at a quiet coffee shop, not a boardroom. Richard stood when Brandon arrived, extended his hand. Brandon hesitated, then shook it. They sat. I owe you more than a press conference, Richard began. I owe you the truth. He met Brandon's eyes. When I saw you over Emma, my first thought wasn't, thank God someone helped her. It was fear. And that fear came from prejudice I didn't want to admit I had. Brandon said nothing. I saw your skin color, your clothes, your car, and I made assumptions, terrible ones. Then when you refused my money, I couldn't understand it, because in my world, everything has a price. Richard's voice dropped. You saved my daughter's life and asked for nothing. That terrified me, because it meant I couldn't buy you, couldn't control the narrative, couldn't make this fit into my understanding of how the world works. He leaned forward. So my company attacked you, not because you did anything wrong, but because you exposed something I didn't want to see, that my systems are designed to protect people like me by crushing people like you. Brandon finally spoke. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to hear it, not the PR version, the truth. Richard's hands shook slightly. I'm sorry, Brandon. Truly. For attacking you. For doubting you. For hiding behind policy when your mother needed help. For building companies that hurt people and pretending it was just business. Silence. I can't undo what I did, Richard continued. But I can change what I do next, if you'll let me. Brandon studied him. My mother's dying, Mr. Caldwell. My brother was homeless. I was 2 days from living in my car. All because I saved your daughter. I know. Do you? Really know what it's like to choose between medicine and rent? To be treated like a criminal for being good? Richard's voice was barely a whisper. No, I don't. And I'm ashamed that I never tried to understand. Brandon sat back. Your press conference was a start. Your policy changes might help people, but words and money don't fix what's broken in this country. You're right. Then why should I believe anything you're saying? Richard met his eyes. Because I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to let me prove it. With time, with actions, with accountability. He slid a folder across the table. This is an offer. Director of Community Relations for Caldwell Foundation. 6-figure salary. Full benefits. Your job is to keep me honest. To challenge every policy, every decision, every system that hurts people. You answer to the board, but you have full authority to flag anything you see as unjust. Brandon didn't open the folder. I don't want a job that makes you feel better about yourself. It's not about making me feel better. It's about making things right, or trying to. Richard's voice was earnest. You showed me what I'd become. Now I'm asking you to help me remember who I wanted to be. Brandon finally opened the folder. The salary was real, the benefits comprehensive, the job description exactly what Richard described. Can I do it my way? Brandon asked. Really help people, even when it costs your company money? Richard didn't hesitate. I'm counting on it. Brandon looked at this broken billionaire trying to rebuild himself. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. They stood. Richard extended his hand again. This time, when Brandon shook it, it felt different. Like maybe, just maybe, something could actually change. 3 months later, Brandon Williams walked into his new office at Caldwell Foundation. Modest but professional. A real desk, a window, photos on the wall, people he'd helped in his first 90 days. His first major decision as Director of Community Relations sat on his desk, a medical claim denial for a young Latina woman with lupus. Technically compliant with policy, morally wrong. Brandon picked up his stamp, the one Richard had given him his first day. He pressed it firmly onto the denial form. Approved. Policy overridden. Humanitarian exception. Below it he wrote, Policy serves people, not the other way around. BW. His assistant knocked. Mr. Williams, your 2 p.m. is here. Emma Caldwell walked in, smiling. She looked different, less polished, more genuine. She'd been working at a legal aid clinic, using her privilege to help people navigate systems designed to exclude them. Coffee? Brandon offered. At that little place you showed me? Absolutely. They walked through downtown together, an unlikely friendship born from crisis. Emma in jeans and a simple jacket. Brandon in business casual he still wasn't quite comfortable wearing. The diner was nothing fancy. Cracked vinyl booths, coffee that came in heavy ceramic mugs, the kind of place Emma had never been before Brandon. I have news, Emma said. The Caldwell Foundation's CPR training program launched in 50 cities this week. We've trained over 2,000 people so far. Brandon smiled. Your idea worked. Our idea? You pushed for underserved communities first. That made it matter. Speaking of which, your father asked me to review the new medical ethics board candidates. Emma raised an eyebrow. And? Half of them are corporate lawyers who'll protect the company. I rejected them. How'd he take it? He said, Good. That's why I hired you. Brandon shook his head, still surprised. I think he actually meant it. He's trying. It's not perfect, but he's trying. Emma stirred her coffee. You changed him, changed all of us. I just did CPR? You did more than that. You showed us what we'd become. She met his eyes. Thank you. Brandon's phone buzzed. His mother, home now, in treatment, responding well. Baby, your brother's promotion ceremony is today at 4. Don't be late. Love you. Mom. Brandon showed Emma the text. Terrence is getting promoted? To senior management. Richard made it happen. You made it happen by refusing to let them buy your silence. Brandon paid for coffee. He could afford it now. And they walked back through the city he was slowly learning to see differently. Not 2 worlds separated by wealth, but one world where people could choose compassion over calculation, where doing right could actually lead somewhere good, where a black driver and a billionaire's daughter could change a system together. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. 6 months after that day, the Williams Family Center for Compassionate Care opened its doors in the neighborhood where Brandon grew up. Free medical clinic, community CPR training, legal aid office, all in one building. Named after Brandon's father, a man who'd taught him, do right, even when it's hard. Brandon and Emma stood at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, his mother beside them in a wheelchair, healthy now, smiling. Terrence on the other side, proud. Richard Caldwell stood slightly apart, watching. When their eyes met, Brandon nodded. Richard nodded back. Not friendship, not yet, but acknowledgement. Respect. The beginning of accountability. Emma handed Brandon the scissors. You sure you don't want your name on the building? She asked. Brandon looked at the sign. Williams Family Center for Compassionate Care. My name's already on it. It's in every person who gets treated here, every life saved, every family helped. They cut the ribbon together. The crowd cheered. Neighbors, community members, people who understood what this building meant. A system could change. Not easily, not quickly, but one compassionate act at a time. Brandon's hands, the same hands that had performed CPR on a stranger, now held scissors that opened doors, creating opportunity, ensuring fairness, proving that kindness wasn't weakness. It was power. If this story moved you, we want to hear from you. Have you ever witnessed a simple act of kindness that changed everything? Have you ever been punished for doing the right thing? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might inspire someone else to choose compassion over calculation. And if Brandon's story resonated with you, consider learning CPR. It takes just a few hours, costs little or nothing, and you might become someone's only hope in their darkest moment. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more stories that matter, and share this with someone who needs to be reminded that doing good still matters, even when the world makes it hard. Remember, compassion doesn't calculate, it simply acts. What will you do today?